appears Mr. Gwinner has arrived, and we're a little bit ahead of schedule. But Jim, if you'd like to come up and take the floor
I'm not scared to shake anybody's hands for a break.
Yeah.
How are you? Is it okay if I have this in here?
Absolutely.
All right, and I'm going to take my jacket up. It's okay with the gentlemen. I did turn my ringer off, so hopefully I won't have any undue. Commissioner Jim, what a pleasure to meet you. Thanks.
Good to see you,
I
Jim.
appreciate the time.
You bet.
All I'm doing is knocking over trash cans.
There you go.
You prefer me to stand or want me to sit or what do you prefer? I guess I can.
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
You know, it's really different. I was telling my colleagues Carter and Leroy when we were driving up. It's really different to stand in front of 3 people behind a bench than it is to talk to 50 people in a classroom. It's a whole different dynamic. It's a whole different dynamic. First of all, I want to thank you for your time today. My name is Jim Gwinner, and for the record, I represent the Consumer Healthcare Products Association, which is a coalition of manufacturers of over-the-counter products. Everything from you walk into the pharmacy up to the time you walk to the counter, including something behind the counter. Everything from Pseudoephedrine to Neosporin to Band-Aids to even Ovaltine, which I don't know how that's part of that membership. But first of all, I know a little background. Thank you for meeting with us about a month or so ago so we can have the opportunity to begin a conversation about the issue of methamphetamine. I mean, I think everybody in this room, everybody on both sides of the issue agree that it's a terrible problem. We all want to see the same end. We want to see illicit and illegal drug use curtailed. I think both sides have just different ways of getting about to that same end. With that, I'd like to give you some information that I put together for you.
Before you get too much
Sure.
further, would you introduce your colleagues, please,
Oh, sure.
so we can get their name on the record?
Sure. With me is Carter Duncan. Carter and I work together, specifically for my firm. And Lori Grant from St. Louis is coming to join us. I'm not sure if they're going to, if I forget something or get tongue-tied, and sometimes they can back me up, and I appreciate the help.
Okay.
You know, like I mentioned, first of all, it is, meth is a plague on society. We do want to make sure that we're all working towards the same end, and we do have different views about what the best way of getting there is. And on a side note, you know, it's kind of nice to be back in Lincoln County. Back in, I guess, 18 years ago, in '93, and I'm not sure which commissioner represents Winfield. I was in your community in '93 during the floods. Spent better part of a couple of weeks sleeping on the floor of your school, doing security duty with the military police back then. And you know, born and raised not too terribly far north of here in northeast Missouri. I did travel through your county all the time, going home for the holidays. One of the things I want to point out about our side of this issue of opposition to taking pseudoephedrine to a prescription is that, you know, there is broad-based support, and some of these are in your packet. There's broad support for maintaining and utilizing the existing tracking system, the stop sales system that's currently in place, and whether that be at the local, the state, or the county level, or the local, county, or state level. And that includes the Missouri Pharmacy Association in opposition to this, in support of maintaining the current stop sales system. The Grocers Association, the Missouri Retailers Association, Associated Industries of Missouri, the Biotechnology Association, and groups like MoveOnUp.org and Concerned Women for America, a couple of more politically active groups on a set side of the aisle. So it's not purely just manufacturers of over-the-counter medications, as we've seen and reported in the papers. And if you have any questions, by all means, please stop me. You know, the current system in Missouri and elsewhere is working, and it's getting some good results. In fact, if you look at pages 1 and 2, there's just some statistics and some cutouts from several states around the United States. In Kirkwood, Missouri, in metropolitan St. Louis County, 9 folks were arrested just this spring when the stop sale blocking system stopped the purchase at a local pharmacy in Kirkwood. Police were alerted. Police had the real-time data and information to go make the arrests. In Cnty County, which is on page 7, which is the second to last page of your packet, and I apologize for not putting that in order. Cnty County, 4 were arrested just earlier this month. Utilizing
stop sale.
Pardon?
Explain what stop sale.
Sure. To give a little background, the acronym that we utilize is the NPLEX system. It's called the National Precursor Log Exchange. And what that is basically is a database of everybody that goes and purchases things. And Missouri and 21, I believe it's 21 other states have put the NPLEX system, or something very similar that talks to each other, in place in 21 states around the United States. And there's a map on page 3, I believe, that shows the states that have that. The two very dark states, Oregon and Mississippi, are the only 2 states in the nation that have a prescription, statewide prescription law. So what the NPLEX system does is a block sale system. Missouri or any other state would set the maximum amount that you may purchase either a single time or per month or whatever guidelines they dictate. A law-abiding citizen or a non-law-abiding citizen will pick up their Sudafed from behind the counter or request the Sudafed from behind the counter, because this is all moved behind the counter now. The pharmacist, the pharmacy technician, or the person inside behind the counter enters the information. It varies a little bit exactly how the information is entered, depending on the pharmacy. Some can scan the back of the license, which I didn't even realize the back of my license actually did anything. It actually does. Some pharmacies that don't have that sophisticated electronic technology would actually type it in, and this is all real time. That information, probably about the time it takes me to explain it, is entered into the system. It is checked against purchases, recent purchases, making sure that the desired purchase does not exceed either the daily or the monthly limit by that individual purchaser. And if it is a legitimate sale, the system will process the sale. If it is if it is a suspected sale, it will block the sale if they've hit their daily or their monthly limit.
And what is that, daily and monthly limit?
It is, I'm going to say it's 9 grams. It's about 2-3 boxes per month. It's about 9 grams per month. It's 3 and change per day. And I apologize for not knowing that specifically.
It's about 3 boxes.
It's about 3 boxes a month, right. So, in the time I've explained it, the system has collected the data and the information. So an Illinois resident comes into Missouri to try and buy, but they bought their daily or their monthly limit here in Troy, because the systems talk to each other. They're turned away. There is for the safety of the person behind the counter, there is an override system. So if the pharmacy technician, the pharmacist who is actually making the process, sees this, feels threatened, or for whatever reason one needs to override this, they can actually automatically manually override this. And that will immediately alert local law enforcement. The robustness of the system, I kind of liken this to a couple things. Just a huge spotlight or a radar gun, a speed gun for years ago. We know that there was a lot of speeders before the radar gun. You can catch a lot more speeders now. This is a very robust tool. Law enforcement has the ability to look at this data in a variety of ways. They can look at it, they can follow individuals, they can look at stores, they can utilize the data in any which way that they see fit in order to track and identify these purchasers. They can look at a set number of people and they can build their case, which is exactly what happened in Kirkwood, exactly what happened in Gasconade County. So what it is, it's a stop sale system. It prevents the purchaser from purchasing over the legal limit. Okay, mention?
Yeah. So when, you're probably going to talk about smoking and stuff
Sure.
like that, whatever. So that, in theory, that's supposed to work, like, that's supposed to keep people from driving around smoking, like.
No, what it is supposed to do is it is to prevent people from buying in excess of the legal limit, whether it's a prescription drug or it's over the counter.
I understand, so that should curb that down then. I mean, in theory, that's supposed to help eliminate that, or
In theory, it should, yeah. And I'm not the best person to talk about the NPLEX system. Happy to bring in or put you in touch with companies afterwards. Yeah. I think with smurfing, I think with the diversion of a drug, whether it is the diversion of an over-the-counter medication or prescription medication, the criminal element that wants to divert a drug once they obtain that, through whatever means they obtain that, is still going to happen. I think it is a huge challenge. That goes beyond whether something's prescription or over the counter. At least that's my position. So again, what we've seen is the results happen from the NPLEX system. 19 of 21 states have put in the e-blocking. 20 states looked at a prescription-only model in 2011 and none passed it. 7 new states have recently joined that NPLEX system. And what that map shows on page 3, the U.S. map, is all the surrounding states are beginning to go into this NPLEX system, the stop sale system model. All those systems are talking to each other. So when you go from an over-the-counter medication to prescription medication, whatever that medication happens to be, you lose the ability for real-time tracking because HIPAA laws, federal laws will prevent you from the real-time tracking, and you're basically blinding yourselves to the ability to see these things in real time. And it takes it from a over-the-counter drug problem to a prescription drug problem. The MPLEX system, just a few facts about the MPLEX system, has blocked over 1 million grams nationwide, where it's been implemented, 1 million grams of the precursor of pseudoephedrine being sold illegally just in 2011. The system covers almost half of the retailers in the United States, and as I mentioned, it sees across state lines, and it's real-time for law enforcement. It's web-based, so that no software or hardware is needed, so law enforcement can utilize their existing terminals or existing systems to access this. And it's very secure in the fact that it'll be the exact same terminal, and the exact same hardware. So the sheriff of Lincoln County, he accesses it through his law enforcement laptop, cannot go to the city library and log in from the city library computer. He's got to use the exact same one because of the security of the information. It's provided free of charge to states, governments, and retailers. And stores like Walgreens are using this similar type of data nationwide. And why it's free of charge is the industry provides the system based on a fee per box that they remit and pay for the system for the states that implement this, so that it does not come out of local, state, or county funds. Obviously, you know, it protects the consumer privacy without blocking blocking criminal behavior, while at the same time letting law enforcement see that activity. Since January 1 of this year, the MPLEX system is now blocking more than 5,000 sales per month. It's been implemented since September. It became fully operational statewide just in January of this year, and it's now in the process of blocking 5,000 plus boxes per month. As I mentioned a little while ago, the opposition to going to a prescription-only model is not limited to purely just the Consumer Healthcare Products Association. Pages 4, 5, and 6 of your packet will show letters from an op-ed, letters signed from the Missouri Retailers Association, Pharmacy Association, Associated Industries, and the Asthma Allergy Foundation of St. Louis. And Joy Krieger, who's the president of the St. Louis Asthma Allergy Foundation of the St. Louis chapter, couldn't be here today. She got thrown from the mountain bike, and she apologizes for not being here. She's doing quite well. She was on vacation and found herself in the ER last night. But some of the reasons why, and a variety of groups that are opposed to this are it's kind of interesting. There are different arguments coming from different angles in opposition to this. And again, all groups want to get to the same end. They want to see the problem of illegal drug use diminished. And there is a cost to the consumer, to the patient. Taking this to prescription only means that allergy sufferers will have to take time off work to go see the doctor. And if you have a great relationship with your doctor, you may be able to call it in. If you don't have a great relationship with your doctor, I know for the fact I hadn't been to my personal physician in 5 years, and last month I needed to get some allergy medicine. I had to go in. I wanted to get my cholesterol tested before I went in. I had to go in and see him, then I had to get the blood test. There is truly a cost for taking off time for going to see the physician. There's going to be delays experienced in receiving treatment. And again, when you go from the over-the-counter model to a prescription model, HIPAA laws prevent the information from being viewed to law enforcement. So that real-time ability to see what's happening in your communities is going to go away. And that's not because the MPLEX system would go away, it's because the prescription tracking of the prescription drugs cannot be tracked. And again, back from the map, that multi-state tracking system is available. Some of the things that I've experienced, and I've been working with this project for a while on behalf of CHIPA, and I've heard talk about a lot of different, but the 2 other states that have gone to the prescription model. Oregon, for example, is one that's often talked. Look at Oregon. It's a state that's seen a huge dramatic decrease in the amount of meth lab incidents. Yet if you look at all the surrounding states, if you look at Arizona, Oregon, Washington, Utah, and this is on the page 8, should be the very last page of your packet. Utah, Nevada, California, and Idaho. Each of those states have seen a decrease in meth lab incidents in excess of 90%, but only Oregon has gone to the position of prescription only. Yet in that time, meth deaths have increased in Oregon by 22%. And prescription drug abuse has increased by 350%. And I'm not saying that there's a direct correlation. What I'm saying is that